What's going on?
We're going to need money.
Max Fun Drive. Max Fun
Drive.
Max Fun Drive.
The idea is to recruit new members.
It's the final week and the final day of Greatest Trek Drive 2025. Can you believe it?
It's gone by so fast. We've had so much fun engaging with all of the friends of DeSoto and making the case for this show and its continued existence, because that's really what we're asking you for. We're asking you to become a member so that this show can continue to be a thing by going to MaximumFun.org/join.
Our goal this year is 100% participation, and that's not a joke. I think you know how important it is to support the things that you love. You can help make sure that we stick around for a long, long time by going to MaximumFun.org/join.
Yeah, I think you rely on this show coming out every Friday and, getting to process all of the new Trek stuff with us and maybe turn your mood around every so often. And we rely on you too. We rely on you for those listens, but more crucially for your direct support of this show. So that reliability is a two-way street. And if you really look forward to this show every Friday, we really hope you will join, boost, or upgrade your membership today on the final day of the Max Fun Drive. This is it. This is the big closer. This is for all the marbles. We really need your support at MaximumFun.org/join.
It couldn't be easier. You just go to MaximumFun.org/join. A couple clicks later, you're supporting at the $5 level. And then that's it. It's easy as that. And you're doing it on the last day of the drive. What could be better? Right as the door to engineering is closing, we're rolling underneath.
You're striking a cool pose.
We're going to MaximumFun.org/join. We'll be back a little later to tell you a little bit more about the drive and to make our final case for why it's so important.
But in the meantime, just head to MaximumFun.org/join. I think that if you're listening, you probably already want to become a supporter, and this is your opportunity to do so at the time when it matters the most. So head to MaximumFun.org/join right now and make it happen today.
I'm only going to tell you this once.
That is now your chair, Captain.
My friends, the great experiment.
Prodigy.
Prodigy. Hidden.
Trek.
Would you look at that?
The greatest Trek.
And you people, you're all astronauts on some kind of Star Trek.
The greatest Trek.
Welcome to Greatest Trek. It's a new Star Trek podcast from the makers of The Greatest Generation. I'm Ben Harrison.
I'm Adam Pranica. You mooed your new. That's what you did there.
I did.
Ben, I need to ask your advice about a situation, and I feel like you're the one person in my life, just through reps, I feel like your opinion really matters for something like this because it has something to do with a neighbor.
Okay.
Specifically a problem I had with a neighbor yesterday. And I would be curious about how you would have done this interaction versus how I did, which I have some regrets about.
Before we get too far down the road, tree gone, bees
Dead!
rehomed. It's done.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
The day that it happened, like the day that the tree cutters were there, that morning, phone call from my neighbor, pissed. I just dropped Daron off at preschool. I was driving to Max Fun HQ for something. Number I didn't recognize pops up on the infotainment system, and I'm like, who could this be? Oh, it's my neighbor. And he's furious because the tree people were dropping branches into his backyard as they came off of the tree.
Can't ever do that, can you?
No.
You gotta gingerly take each individual branch, put it into a backpack, and then scurry down the trunk.
Yeah.
Bless your fucking heart also for not having that toggle hit on your phone that automatically mutes numbers that aren't in your contacts. Why are you doing that? What are you doing?
This is a feature I'm just learning about in this moment. It sounds great.
Oh my God. You gotta live this lifestyle, man.
It sounds fabulous. But yeah, I mean, I think also it was like an expectation had not been set. Like the tree company had a guy on their roof to make sure that things didn't hit their roof at speed.
Yeah.
But the sounds of the footsteps on the roof were not something that his wife was expecting. So she was quite worried that damage was being done.
Sure.
Anyways, smoothed it all over with him and gave him the direct contact to the tree people, thinking like, okay, I'm off the hook. And then like I had a very long day, got home at the end of the day, and he happened to be like parking right in front of my house as I was pulling into the driveway. And I was like, come on.
Perfect timing.
I never see this guy. Why is he here now?
Incredible. And how did that go?
It went fine. We walked back. We looked at the side yard where the tree had come down. He was perfectly happy with how the work had been done, and we had a non-hostile, neighborly interaction.
I think most people would appreciate having you as a neighbor because I feel like the floor for goodness is like the bare minimum for being a good neighbor. I feel like is pretty easy to achieve.
Yeah.
And I think you do that just being you.
Sure.
The issue I had with my neighbor has a lot to do with that idea, I think, because this is so fresh in my mind. This happened yesterday. This is breaking on my street. And I thank fucking God that we weren't recording yesterday for a very specific reason, because around noon, I started hearing a noise, like a persistent beeping noise that was different from what you'd get from a car alarm, but could be a car alarm. And I live in a pretty densely populated area. It could be on my street. It could be on a street down the way. Could be a car alarm I've never heard before. That could be a thing, whatever. So I'm sitting down to my lunch, having my sandwich, and I'm expecting, I think most people have the expectation that a car alarm ends at a certain amount of time, like 90 seconds, I feel like.
Can I ask, like, were you partly just like ready to be in a bad mood because it was sandwich for lunch?
No, I was doing great.
Okay.
Having a great sandwich. You know, sometimes a car alarm will like repeat over and over again because the parker of the car will have parked too close to a different one. And if the proximity sensor sets it off, it's just going to loop and loop and loop on you.
Sure.
This one was not looping. This one was just going and going and going in a way that after 10 minutes, after 30 minutes, after an hour, after 2 hours, started to drive me crazy. And I only have the number for my across the street neighbor and my to the left of me neighbor. I don't have the number to the ones on the right or like a few others that are across the street. And this is important information for what happens from here. So I text my across the street, my closest neighbor, and I'm like, dude, what is going on? I'm losing my mind. And he's all, it's 2 doors down from me. It's not a car. It's a burglar alarm.
Oh.
The alarm was so loud, I couldn't really geolocate it. Like, I couldn't figure out where it was coming from because it was so...
Yeah, it's like it like swamps your ability to triangulate because it's just blowing out your sensory.
So with this tip, I was like looking at the house in question and I was like, oh yeah, it is coming from there.
Was there like a strobe going or anything like that?
No strobe. So I walk across the street and I, a lot of homes in my part of the city have like little front fences. Kind of lean over the front fence and I have a look around. Doesn't look like the house has been broken into. It is deafening to be close to this house though. It is like,
whoa.
It is a thing. I don't see evidence of burgle. So I go back to my house and I'm like, I text my neighbor again. I'm like, what do we do about this? He says, we already called the non-emergency line. So the police know about this. And I was like, well, what are the fucking odds they show up today?
Because also, like, if you have one of those home alarm systems, if it goes off, like, they are supposed to send someone out, right? Like, they're supposed to send one of those rent-a-cops in, like, a CRV.
My across-the-street neighbor barely knows the neighbor in question.
Yeah.
But he said that this is the sort of alarm that isn't connected to any system at all. It's just an alarm that makes sound.
Oh.
That's all it does. So non-emergency line has been called. No real confidence in anything happening with that. I'm like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I end up looking up the Zillow listing for this house. A house which has been up for sale off and on over the years. And I find that it doesn't have a sign in front of it, but it's for sale. You could buy it if you wanted to. Look at that. There's a realtor on the listing with a phone number and everything.
Okay.
So guess what your boy does? He calls the realtor.
Wow.
A realtor who doesn't pick up. And the message I leave is unusually confrontational for me because we were now nearing hour 4 of burglar alarm going off. And I was like, hello, I live across the street from address of house, which is one of your for sale listings. I just thought I'd let you know that the burglar alarm has been going off for 4 hours and it is driving us crazy. If you could please let the homeowner know that this is happening, that would be great, because the methods that the neighbors would like to use to turn this off would likely not be the ways that your homeowner would appreciate. Thanks. We roll into hour 5.
Yeah.
We roll into hour 6.
Oh, man.
Darkness has fallen over the neighborhood, and still, the alarm persists.
Nevertheless, it persisted.
Finally, a vehicle pulls up to this home. A home which I should say has been kind of a short-term rental property for like a year. So it was clear that it was unoccupied when the burglar alarm was going off, because who the fuck could live through that? And also when a vehicle rolled up, it was like, oh yeah, this has got to be the homeowner, right? Like, who else could it be?
Right.
So I text my across the street neighbor, hey, you want to go over there together and like talk to the person? Because they clearly need a talking to, right? Across the street neighbor's like, no, bud, I'm still at work. So seeing the opportunity to be a neighborhood hero, I'm like, I got to do something. I got to do something for me and everyone else on this block. So I go over and the little gates open. I mean, there's nothing I can knock on, no doorbell I can ring. I'm just going to like walk through the gate and the garage is open.
Oh.
And I can see someone in there.
Yeah.
And he's tinkering on a thing. So I go in and I'm like, hello, I am one of your neighbors. And I understand there's been a problem with your burglar alarm. And I think it would be great if we exchanged information so that when neighbor shit comes up, we have a way of contacting each other, because that was a major issue today, given this has gone on for 6 hours. And he said, the homeowner knows about it. And I said, are you the homeowner? And he said, the homeowner knows about it. And I said, well, would you like to exchange information or something? And he said, nope.
Whoa.
And I was like, okay then. Thanks for getting it fixed. And I walked out of there, not necessarily like tail between my legs, but just in a like, there was no getting through to whatever this person's deal was.
Yeah, what even was that?
What even was that? So I walked back across the street. I texted my across the street neighbor about the interaction. And he was like, oh yeah, that guy's a fucking dick. I was like, hey, thanks for prepping me for potential dick.
Yeah.
You know, because I went over there expecting the baseline level of neighborliness. I wasn't expecting even apology for 6-hour burglary. I was expecting like, hey man, we haven't met. We're neighbors. Like, let's do the exchange of information at minimum. This guy was not even doing that.
Oof.
And that's what makes me wish that there were more neighbors like you, Ben. Like, because your floor is so fucking high, but also like I really could have used a Ben in a situation like that instead of this guy.
Right. A person who would not want to have put you out at all, as opposed to a person who is indifferent to having put you out and also not interested in making anything right about that.
My energy was very not expecting things to be made right. It was very much a transaction of like, we can't change what happened today, but let's try to make a better future.
Right.
And now I know there's no better future to be had with this neighbor.
Yeah. You got to just have a Molotov cocktail prepped that you've got all the fingerprints rubbed off of, and throw it with a glove.
I mean, now it's like if the burglar alarm goes off, I'm probably not even going to look out the window. Like if he's getting burgled, that's too bad. That's too bad for them.
I mean, you also know that there's no like rapid response to his burglar alarm. So if you ever, want to engage in a little bit of property crime.
When I called the non-emergency number, they do that thing where it's like, hey, we'll call you back. Leave your number and we'll call you back so you don't have to wait on hold or whatever. Did that thing. When do you think I got that call back?
Today?
8:17 in the morning today, the day after.
Are you still being...
Living in LA is fucking great. I love it.
Are you still being robbed at knife point?
It's the best.
I don't think they really respond to anything. It sucks.
I mean, I barely responded to anything. I waited 4 hours before I even called that number. What does that say about me? Mm-hmm. I think I could hold up under torture for kind of a long time.
They just keep showing you images of Rock Talk's mouth in 30 seconds, and you're like, okay, I'll tell you everything.
I'd be okay for the auditory torture, but not the visual torture, some of which is present in our episode of Star Trek Prodigy today, Ben.
That's true. It is season 2, episode 8 of Prodigy. Is there, in beauty, no truth?
You know the greatest danger facing us is irrational fear of the unknown.
Huge unknown.
On my mark, go fast.
Is that the
God
title?
damn it. Wait, isn't it?
No.
What?
Is there in beauty no truth?
That's what I said.
I think you added an extra 2 words to that. Is there in no beauty no truth? I think that's what you said.
All right. Let's just play it back, but edited to be the correct title here.
Yes.
Is there, in beauty, no truth?
You know the greatest danger facing us is irrational fear of the unknown.
Huge unknown.
On my mark, go fast.
My contention is I said it right the first time.
Okay.
But if it needs to be edited, I'm fine with that. And that is the title of the episode that we're about to review.
Friends of DeSoto, respond to the poll when this episode drops. Was it said correctly or was it edited into shape?
We're here with our hats out. We're asking you to support a show that we really take very seriously. We work hard on.
Yeah. And yet one of the hosts is not going back for this one.
Fuck
this
that, man.
This is up to Wynde to save us.
So we get a Z's log at the opening of this episode talking about that broken faceplate lifestyle that Zero has been living since last time. And I was worried that broken faceplate might mean zero leak last time, but it's not that. It's just that the suit doesn't work. Like no walking around, no picking stuff up, and not even Jenkum can fix the Zero suit.
Is the Zero suit more about containment of Zero or protection for people around Zero? Because it would seem as though the gas that is Zero's body is like gathered in a way that's by choice, right?
Right. I mean, I've always considered that Zero seemed to like have the ability to maintain an area,
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I've always contended that Zero should take up all the space that Zero wants.
Sure.
Like, lean in, Zero.
Lean in, Zero. You know what? I don't even call them Zero. I call them Hero.
It's been a week, Ben. A week of Zero living in that busted case.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Sad.
Too difficult to repair. This is the problem with modern technology. Mm-hmm. So often a homeowner or an owner is not permitted to work on their own stuff. It's too bad.
Sorry, there was like a gnat or something. Back into one bug always in the office season. already.
About that.
Yeah.
Spring has sprung.
It used to be the first robin of spring. Now it's the first random bug.
Yeah.
It's that thing where there's no screws in the back of your iPhone, you know? So if you crack the screen, it's not like that's something you can replace, you know? You can't go online and buy the part and fix that. You have to take it to them.
Is there an iPhone no screws?
Oh, Adam, say it again, because you added a couple of extra words in there.
Out of nowhere, Zero gets a telepathic message, and I wonder if Zero's log gets to remain. Like, or if you go back and maybe edit that one.
Right.
Hard to know.
Yeah, delete the last 30 seconds. I was distracted by incoming transmission. Also, it made me wonder, like, we've seen telepaths depicted as having a really hard time shutting out the outside world, like famously in Tin Man.
Tin Man.
That guy like went crazy because he could just hear everything and couldn't turn it off. But Zero seems to be kind of receiving a phone call, like,
Oh, hello there. Why, yes, you're a telepath too.
I like the idea of a telepath who can screen their incoming telepathy, you know?
The thing we know from the Marin is that you would never screen any telepathic phone calls. Were they coming to you, Ben?
I mean, I've got push notifications turned on
Yeah.
for the Spotify for Creators app, so...
The petards are all around, Ben.
Adam, do you maintain inbox zero on your text messages?
They auto-delete after whatever the middle choice is, like 6 months or something.
Oh, interesting. I've currently 52 unread text messages on my messages app. So that's kind of what I'm dealing with.
Would you say you're stressed out,
Yes.
just generally?
Yeah.
Huh. Do you feel generally like bothered and put upon by people wanting at you and wanting at your attention?
Yes, very much so.
Huh. We'll talk about that during your next session.
Okay. I'm saving up for that. So yeah, Zero gets this call. It's another Medusan, and we learned this because Zero has pulled the night shift and is receiving this call while all the rest of the proteges are asleep, but Gwen hears talking on the bridge or something and comes up the little ladder and is groggily asking what's going on. And we kind of smash right into a McLaughlin group.
Issue 1.
Where everyone has gotten together to talk about this because these Medusans that have been in touch with Zero have offered help. There's some coordinates on the table. It's a little out of their way. Can we go to there and get Zero fixed up?
No character archetype includes any parts of an Adam Pranica because I would have spent a lot of time in this scene going, are we sure we believe solicitors? This Medusan solicitor that just cold called you like this with an address? Are we sure this is a good idea? I mean, you just heard their voice, Zero. Like, that's enough to confirm identity in your mind? Huh. All right.
And seems a little too good to be true. Like they're just offering this for free. Like, does that feel plausible to you?
So Zero, you know there's like kind of a button that you can hit that like puts unknown empath messages into kind of a spam folder, right? You understand this? We skip that part of the McLaughlin group right into agreement that this is going to be an adventure they choose to go on.
Gwen kind of talks Dal into it. Dal is a little bit more on the Adam Pranica side of the debate, but
I feel like Zero's position is mostly like, don't fuss over me.
Right.
Like, don't go out of your way to help me in that kind of way.
But Zero went out of their way to help the rest of the group, so it is agreed that we're going to go to this set of coordinates, and pretty quickly we're there. We see this beautiful planet that has like a ring system where the rings are not all lined up the same way, which I really liked. I don't know if I've ever seen a sci-fi planet that looked like this.
Pretty cool. X gonna give a non-corporeal alien a body. X gonna give it to you. That's what those rings look like on this planet.
Yeah, so there's these kind of green and brass people walking around on the surface of this planet, and they come up and greet.
I didn't think they were that old. You thought they were green and brassy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I couldn't tell if the brass was like something that they'd painted on or if they're kind of golems or what.
How tall do you think they are?
They seem really tall.
They seem really tall.
Yeah.
You've heard the statistic, right? Like something like 30% of all people who are over 7 feet tall play for the NBA. Something like that. Like, I think what I'm trying to say is if these folks want to leave the planet and maybe go into professional sports from here, I thought that might be viable.
Yeah.
Before learning the truth of their situation.
The other 70% just live in Holland.
Would you look at that?
The tall greens make me feel like I'm in a store that sells crystals.
Crystals!
You know? The way about them.
Like, it is a scam, this cold call, but it's not that bad of a scam. In the way of people that work in a store that sells crystals.
Look, if you're gonna scam people, at least be nice about it, and that's what these people are.
I mean, the people in the store that sell crystals do not believe that they're scamming anyone, you know?
No, not at all. It's a victimless crime.
Yeah.
Because the customer also believes they're getting something of value.
Crystals!
It's perfect.
So, yeah, we meet Ion, who's sort of the one that placed the telepathic phone call to Zero. And this is Ovidia 4, this planet. And there's something interesting that happens a lot in this kind of early part of the episode where we see a lot of POVs. We see Zero's POV through the broken faceplate as Ion comes up and introduces themselves. And we see like a couple of times from Ion's POV too. But like this is a very Zero's POV episode for the first, third or so.
I like that. I wish we got more of it throughout the series. I mean, the classic example is like the Terminator heads-up display. I want to see all that.
My spidey senses really started to tingle, speaking of references to James Cameron adjacent filmographies when they go to this room in their kind of like tree cave habitation.
Yeah.
Where there's sleeper pods arranged unmistakably exactly the way the sleeper pods are arranged on the Nostromo in Alien.
Yeah, I love it. I love to see it.
I love to see it, but you feel like something bad is going to happen in this room. And these people have lured Zero here under false pretenses. And also, like, these people are obsessed with their newfound senses, and they're talking about, we're about to have the feast of the senses, and you came at exactly the right time. You're going to fucking flip out. But also, they're like, okay, so yeah, we can make you corporeal just like us. And Rock Talk's like, sounds great.
Well, I think this is super cool.
Well then, I'll do it.
And then the kids all just like leave because Ion is like, you can trust me. I'm Ion. Zero's in good hands. And they're like, well, we just met you, but we'll assume that that's true.
How much work does Feast of the Senses night at the local restaurant do in this exact moment? Because that is such a draw for the rest of the kids.
Yeah.
That it kind of muds over the really fast decision-making that Zero has in this moment to climb into the pod. Because Ion basically points through the door. They're like, hey, right over there, we're going to blow your fucking mind. It's fucking Lobster Fest at Red Lobster, and you showed up on the perfect day. Like, let's do it.
Marvelous, isn't it?
And a kid shrimp dinner, just $1.99.
What you don't want to happen is a conversation happening when you climb into the chamber and the door shuts. Like, you don't want to look through the glass and see the two people kind of having a semi-argument.
Right.
After the canopy closes.
What were they saying to each other? Something about you didn't say the other part about this?
The truth will come.
Because we know empaths can read other empaths, like, you've got to believe Zero can detect just a little bit of friction between them.
Yeah.
And I'm here to say, when the canopy closes, you want that to be a friction-free environment in there.
Yeah, it is not.
No.
You know what else is not a friction-free environment? Our first ever depiction, canonically, of Parisi Squares being played.
Amazing.
I love that they took this opportunity.
Yeah, it feels like the Star Trek version of, like, are you going to eat that?
Totally.
In a, like, well, if you're not going to show us what that is, I mean, I guess I will. It's been 20 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
30.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, I think it's time. It's time to show us Parisi Squares.
I think we heard about it first, unless it's a TOS reference that I didn't get. I think the first time we heard about it was in the episode 110001111001.
Yeah, I think so too.
And Wynde will edit that to be like exactly correct for the title. I'm pretty sure I remembered it correctly, but if it needs any editing, Wynde will take care of that.
How about new?
Breaking and really bad timing, if you ask me. Wynde has quit the show on this week 2 of Greatest Trek Drive.
God fucking damn it. That's because not enough people are supporting.
It's because you loaded her up with edits, man. What did you want her to do?
I told her because the drive is happening, we might have a little bit of extra work.
She expects a bare minimum of professionalism by us on the mic, and you can't even do that.
Of course I can't do it because it's a fucking fun drive and I need to work on my punch breaks and things. I don't have time to look up the titles of episodes.
Everyone just calm down, okay?
Anyways, it seems fun. This is Hollows versus Novas, and it is the Novas playing this game while Janeway and Commander Tysus observe to prove to Janeway and Tysus that the proteges that they have on board are not the real proteges.
I love that how they are in a corridor, in a mess hall, wherever. You're not quite sure until you get them on a Parisi Squares court. I'm just going to say court. It's probably something else. But like, you really become your truest self when you're playing Parisi Squares. I think that's why this represents the test.
Sure. I'm sure that that's in the Memory Alpha article about it.
I mean, and if it's not there, quote me. That should go in.
We're not on Memory Alpha enough, you know?
Yeah, you know who is? Fucking Mission Log. All over Memory Alpha.
All over Memory Alpha.
Yeah.
And we're not in the Wikipedia article entries about individual episodes of Star Trek in the reactions area.
It's outrageous.
It sucks.
Yeah.
What are we doing here?
Ben, here's more breaking news.
Okay.
I have quit the show.
Oh, fuck. All right, so this is going to become a little bit more intimate of a podcast. This is just me and you, listener. This is the Benjamin R. Harrison Star Trek Hour.
Well, without an editor, it's going to be 4 hours. So you might want to. Here's a note. Why don't you change the name?
I'm so glad you're back, Adam, to help me talk about how the hologram doctor, Dr. Mark.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Realizes that they stole a plot beat from his own novel to come up with this idea of imposter holograms.
I've been betrayed by my own brilliant storylines.
He is outraged. Janeway knows that the proteges have snuck away, and it's not too long before they realize that they must have snuck away on the Infinity. But also no sign of Gwyn, because Gwyn hologram was not here due to tentacles.
Right.
Which we know, but they don't yet.
Yeah. What they learn after shutting down the emitters is that it's been 2 days since the real Prodigiers have been aboard the ship. And so their immediate reaction to this news is to confirm the destruction of the Infinity ship. Because that seems like it's the most likely place that the kids disappeared to, right? And also like finding Doppelgwyn, who has not been turned off based on Janeway's orders in this scene, and who wasn't among the group playing Parisi Squares.
Doppelgwyn, no one can stop Doppelgwyn. Has an heirloom, turns into a sword, stabs you in your asshole. Doppelgwyn, she's a Doppelgwyn.
Solid. Solid work.
We need to score a lot of platinum fast.
Licensed businessman.
Fun. Drive. Max fun.
Drive.
Max fun. Drive.
The idea is to recruit new members.
What are we doing here? Why even have a drive? What the hell is a Max Fun drive? I mean, look, the show is on the Maximum Fun Network. They run the financials and the support infrastructure for the whole thing, but we're supporting Greatest Trek because that's the name of our show.
Yeah, you've said this on a couple of our other pledge breaks, Adam, but I think it's a really good point. It's not like we are employed by Maximum Fun. They don't pay us. You pay us.
Right.
We pay them to help us with some of the logistics of booking ads on the show and getting P1s and stuff. It's a mutually beneficial relationship, but we are not their employees. We're your employees. And if you enjoy this show and want it to continue, it is entirely in your power to make that happen by going to MaximumFun.org/join and becoming a member or boosting or upgrading. And your membership goes right to us. It is a direct pass-through after a little processing fee. That is where the majority of the revenue for Greatest Trek comes from. And it is the reason Greatest Trek continues to exist. It is like, this is a show that punches so much above its weight class in terms of its listenership, being able to be produced at this high of a level. And that's because of you. That's because of your support. Our goal is for 100% of you to become members during this drive because in past years, we've set like a number of people to become supporters. That's
some bullshit, man.
Yeah. Like we need you specifically, not other people that are going to help us hit some number. We need you to go to MaximumFun.org/join.
Sometimes the hero is you. You ever think about that?
Yeah.
Don't wait for the heroes. Go to MaximumFun.org/join. Look, a lot of reasons to support this year. All the bonus episodes that we record month after month. We also have really fun pins this year. We've got a peaceful coexistence pin, and we've got a money pin also if you want to support at the $10 level. But we want you to know that coming in at the $5 level just means so much. Like, to be a supporter at all is what we're trying to encourage you to do. You can make the show possible now, this year, and in future years by going to MaximumFun.org/join.
Make it so.
Money.
It is a tremendous honor to work for the Friends of DeSoto and for no one else. Adam and I and all of the folks at Uxbridge Shimoda are constantly talking about how lucky we feel that the Friends of DeSoto are such a great group of people, so kind and dedicated and thoughtful and funny and creative. It's just an amazing community that has grown up around this show. And whether or not you're like a really active part of that community, know that the people that find this show and really enjoy it are the kind of people that would be willing to support it. So if that's you, head to MaximumFun.org/join right now and get it done before this drive is in the history books.
You brought up a really interesting point, Ben, and it's something that I want to like double down on. You don't have to be a super fan of this show to be a supporter. You don't have to be in the communities that have popped up and gathered to be a supporter of the show. You can be a person who's never interacted with another friend of DeSoto ever and still support the show. And it's important no matter who you are.
Yeah.
The most important thing is the support at all. And you can do that by going to MaximumFun.org/join.
Here's how it works. You go to MaximumFun.org/join. You pick your level of membership support. You pick which shows you're supporting. You put your credit card details in, and that's it. It's just a little charge every month, less than a fancy cup of coffee these days. That's all it takes. If you feel like the 4 monthly episodes you get of this show and the 4 monthly episodes you get of Greatest Gen are worth that, we really hope you will become a supporter today.
It is our duty to support.
Money.
100%.
Money.
Make it so. Make it so.
Money.
You might be in a position where $5 a month isn't going to happen this year. I have got a message for you. Dongshop.biz.
Dongshop.biz
is where you can go to grab a gift membership. These are memberships at the $5 level made possible by the folks on the Discord, drunkshimoda.com. They've collectively gathered a pool together in order to make gift memberships possible. If you can't swing the $5 a month level, go to dongshop.biz. You'll get set up with a gift membership. And guess what? You get all the benefits of being a supporter.
That is so cool that people love this show enough to gift memberships to other friends of DeSoto. Like, such a cool act of generosity. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it because it's so meaningful that this show means so much to people that they would go out of their way to build a website to enable this kind of support. It's so rad. We are going for 100% support, and we are hoping even the folks who don't have the finances to support right now become supporters because other friends of DeSoto want to gift them memberships.
Pretty amazing. I love it. MaximumFun.org/join is where you go to support at the $5 level. Dongshop.biz, where you can also go if you want a gift membership to make it possible. Both ways ensure the survival of Greatest Trek long into the future.
Adam and I are so grateful to everyone who's participated in the drive this year and everybody who's ever participated in a drive. It just means the world to us that this silly thing we make has enough impact for folks out there that they're willing to support. So thank you so much. And we are really looking forward to another year of making great shows for you.
Yeah. Thanks again. Appreciate you. MaximumFun.org/join.
Increase support to maximum. Increase support to maximum. Increase support to maximum. Increase support to maximum.
Maximum fun drive. Dollars. Maximum fun
Drive.
dollars. Maximum fun drive.
Money. Money.
Back to Zero, who we can now hear breathing. Zero got a long green body, just like the rest of the folks on this planet.
Much less brass, though.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And Zero is super psyched to be touching the floor with their own 2 feet and their own face and their own tongue.
Yeah.
Hey, Zero, you're going to grow to not find the idea of touching floors with your feet comforting in a place like a mid-market hotel. Or like when you have to walk on decorative rocks outside, like when you want to not walk on a sidewalk to get to a place faster in your bare feet. Yeah, that's no good.
Yeah. Suddenly, the experience of having physical form has lost its luster ever since I checked into this Red Roof Inn.
My room having previously been inhabited by a family with children. And so the Lego I stepped on caused me such agony.
Remarkable that even though they share my corporeal nature, housekeeping did not clean that up.
In less than a minute, like, try to imagine this. Zero is trying to get on the level of having a body for the very first time. And less than a minute later, all of Zero's friends have walked in and begin like touching Zero and hugging Zero and like shaking Zero around. Wow, that's a lot at one time, I thought.
Well, it's a feast of the senses, Adam. And,
it is, yeah.
And the cuddle puddle is just one part of that.
The part that was the most shocking was Rock Talk picking up and holding Zero right up to her face. A face that I don't think Zero has ever seen up close.
Right.
But now that Zero's a super tall, this is going to be the view.
Oh, man. It would have been really nice if there had just been a total freak out moment. Seeing those teeth.
Zero puts their new head inside the chamber and like attempts to slam the canopy over their neck. So Ion makes sure to call back the Feast of the Senses event that's happening nearby. And I don't believe I'm particularly quick with like the predictions and the pickups of stuff that's being foreshadowed. But I thought about in this exact moment if any of the senses will be pain right here and now.
Yeah.
If we're talking about all the senses, that's definitely one of them.
It seems like mainly good senses are being catered to.
Yeah.
With all the spread of lots of delicious food and the hats of flowers that people are getting put on their heads. I mean, there's also annoying senses. For example, drum circle is present. And, you know, like we're just trying to enjoy our day at the park too. I don't know why drum circle has to be here.
Sensing the presence of assholes. Big part of it.
We get a burp from Zero's new birdie, and we learn that Jankum is a bit of a he's a
burpsman,
developed palate. He's a burp sommelier, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
He says it's forward without being pushy, basically, and
you can't dance with a gassy tum. That was like the trigger for the burp, right? Because Zero gets invited out on the dance floor, and Zero's like, this sucks. Yeah. Post burp, Zero's ready to cut it up.
Yeah, but Zero's never done this before, so has kind of Elaine from Seinfeld level dance moves, unfortunately.
Jankum Pog, great dance moves, enviable dance moves in my mind.
I think that's Jankum's like real superpower is Jankum does everything like nobody's watching, you know?
When I see Zero out on the dance floor, I see myself. Someone who doesn't know what these limbs are supposed to do on time or off time.
Mm-hmm.
1s and 3s or 2s and 4s. Should I be clapping?
Mm-hmm.
Should I be doing some of this?
Yeah, I think putting your hands in the air like you just don't care tends to be a good thing to do.
They say it in the song, Ben. I'll look like an asshole if I don't do that.
Yeah. My toddler's a bit of a clumsy guy right now, and my wife has been expressing concern over it, and I was like, I don't know what to tell you. I think it's genetic. I think he takes after me in this department.
Your wife's like, I think our son might be clumsy. Do we need to like take him in? And she looks over at you, and you're like,
I'm like in the middle of knocking over a pitcher of water while slipping on a banana peel.
Like in an SNL sketch, you're like trying to put on your shoes and you fall out a window of your house.
I just Chris Farley through our coffee table.
We're gonna have to clean that up later.
While everybody is cutting a rug, Dal and Gwyn have a little moment where they're eating and talking about Dal's like, hey, I really appreciate you talking me into doing this side quest. I was really like focused on mission, but I need to be a little bit more able to like see the forest for the trees. But also, I don't forget that the mission is crucial to your survival, and we are going to fix that. Like the timeline must get fixed.
We haven't forgotten about your proximity to death, Gwyn. I know this seems like a party in that when you look around at everyone here having a great time and all the celebratory food and the fact that it happens once a year or whatever, like you could assume that it's that, but it is also about saving your life eventually after the party.
Speaking of proximity to death, Zero has been fitted for one of these flower hats, and we learned that there is another part of this cultural festival of the corporeal non-corporeals, and that is the running of the Nazaman. And it's a celebration of that other sense, the fear of death.
Is there a version of running of the blank that isn't a celebratory escape from something that wants to kill you? Because my mind just went to bulls. And I was like, well, this is kind of that, except the bull flies.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're very experienced with the running of the bowels.
To this point, it has not killed me.
Yeah.
Though, one day it will. I think we all know that.
I think
greatest trick
is yet to come.
We learn in this conversation that Zero is not there for, that no one ever leaves this planet. Once they get their birdie set up by the corporeal non-corporeals, that's it. They're like, cool, well, I'm this thing's going to decay if I leave because of the special ring structure of this planet. It's like a roach motel for non-corporeals if roaches liked being in roach motels.
Not to cut to the end, but I do want to ask this question before I forget it. Did they keep Zero's old suit? Like, did they just throw that in the dumpster? Because it occurs to me that, like...
Oh, man.
Huh.
As that thing breaks down...
Yeah, like...
Potentially...
That's what I'm saying.
We could have a big problem on our hands. Everybody's going to have to wear red sunglasses.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, the running starts and the proteges are trying to get to Zero to tell them about this horrific danger they're about to be in. But they don't get to Zero in time. And the reveal is that the Nazamon is a beast that wants to kill them. It's a big flying kind of manta ray kind of deal.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it had that big mouth, like the big flat mouth and the big flat body.
Yeah.
Cool design on this.
Really cool.
Because rays look like they could fly anyway. So seeing a giant one fly around made a lot of sense.
Yeah. So the team are running across this field of flowers. It's like the super bloom that always happens every spring in Southern California. They're taking incredible Insta selfies, and then they make it up to Zero and tell them, like, hey, this deal that seems too good to be true is not in fact. Strings are attached.
Zero's like, why did you say it that way?
But Zero is very touched that they would risk their lives to come tell them the fine print of the deal that they already agreed to when Dal gets gobbled up by the Nazamon.
What do you think is the most important piece of information here to convey to Zero? Is it that your body can only live here and here only, or the Nazamon as a thing? Because they're both not what you expected when you signed up for body.
Right. Right.
I guess one is the most important as you're running, clearly.
Yeah. But also, like, they compound each other as pieces of information because new body, who dis, oh shit, like, I might not even make it through the first day of having it.
Was this a trap by the folks on this planet? That was another question I had.
I was looking for who'd benefits in the case that it's a trap, and I couldn't come up with anything.
And if it's not a trap, it kind of feels like these folks are dumb. In a way I did not want to presume.
They're either dumb or they're kind of like the Federation in that they're like, everything is free, so we just give it away, and it doesn't cost us anything. So, like, who gives a shit?
They're dumb like the Federation.
Yeah.
Just like the Federation.
But the Federation is dumb when it encounters certain scenarios where that is, like, maladaptive to the deal.
Right.
So anyways, yeah, Dal is now in mortal danger, and it is Zero that's trying to rescue him, and they wind up in the mouth of this thing.
It's interesting how this isn't Jonah in the Whale, though. It's more like Falcor from Neverending Story. As a moment, you know?
Right.
I like children.
For breakfast?
Never.
Because I guess they haven't gone into the depths of the Nazamon where they will experience 1,000 years of pain and misery.
They're not being slowly digested in Nazamon juices.
Doesn't sound so bad.
Oh, wait. Here's a question.
Yeah.
Is the stomach juice that Dal drank earlier in the episode that he loves so much, is that the stomach juice of this thing? Or is that something else?
It said something hog. I didn't catch what
that's
kind of
not
hog
this
it
thing.
was. But listen, Aaron Waltke, here's a punch up.
Hate to give you notes, dude, but...
Have them go down into the stomach juices and really enjoy that part of the sensory experience.
I guess there's only one way to get out of here, Dal says. Like, Gwen's like, why'd your voice get all low? Once I start drinking, I'm not going to stop. And then we're going to go out the other way in this digestive system.
Why are you taking your pants off? What's going on?
It's the only way I'm going to slip through that hole without getting caught.
The kids that were left on the ground start throwing flowers up into the air to lure the Nazimon back, and they successfully saved Alan Zero. And they're like, great, well, Zero, what do you think? Should we get the fuck out of here? And Zero's like, I'm going to save that for a dramatic conclusion after I cross the finish line. At the end of the race, Zero goes up to Ion, and I mean, this is classic food reality competition shit, where Zero's like, I love my new senses. I don't want to leave here. And yet, I was summoned under false pretenses. You're eliminated.
Yeah.
But Zero's going with them with the new birdie, right?
I can understand a children's show trying to present a character choosing their friends over the new friend. Like choosing the friends that have gotten you through thick and thin versus like the newness of cool, which is what I think the folks on this planet represent.
Right.
And so it feels good and right for Zero to choose the dance partner that brought them, you know? But it doesn't feel to me like there's something that feels wrong about the equivalence here. Like, this is literally what Zero wants the most, and instead chooses the loyalty to their friends instead as kind of a payback. Like, it feels like Zero owes their friends for risking their lives to give them the information that I feel like Zero would have eventually gotten.
Yeah.
Were they to finish the race. It just doesn't feel like a good exchange.
I wonder if part of it is the, like, it came too easy energy of it. Like, I was kind of getting
that's a good call.
Same feeling of, like, Q turning Wesley into a lantern-jawed hunk. You know?
And I felt as incredulous then as I do now, which is like, come on, Wes, are you fucking serious?
Go for it, dude.
Can you imagine how many Robin Lefflers you dick down with a body like that? Give me a break. I'm pretty sure off screen that's what Q said to him, like almost verbatim.
Robin Leffler would be hobbling to Six Bay for some painkillers after. So in some ways, this does make sense that Zero chooses to stay with the body at the very least.
Yeah.
But yeah, is going with their new body, but their old friends back on the mission. And we cut over to Voyager, where they have fired back up the hologram of Gwyn with correct personality installed.
Mm-hmm.
And we learn a few terrifying things from this holo. There are 8 minutes of ship's log missing, and this holo is absolutely fucking horrified by the tentacle situation that caused the holo to phase out.
Yeah. The way that Gwyn holo gets louder and broader with her description of things is like a really great crescendo on the scene. Because that calm in a medical environment being shattered in the way that it is here, and then finally for Janeway to go like, unplug her! Shut it off!
Shut it down!
Like, that combination, capital D's, all of these dones for me. Like, really great finish to the episode here, I thought.
I think some of the U's are even capital.
Yeah. Yeah, but now that the episode's done, Ben, did you like it?
She'll always bring it home.
Yeah, I like this episode. I thought interesting twist on the technology honeypot premise that I feel like Star Trek has played with a number of times, where this time it is not being offered for bad reasons. It's just being offered without like all of the information one might want to have when making a decision like this.
This is a kind of episode in that way.
It's a kind of episode, but I think it's especially appropriate to like the naivete of a child approaching a decision like this. So I thought it was very well done. How about you?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. There's something very clear about like the idea of daylight horror in an Ari Aster kind of way. Feels like that's apparent here, but it has to be in the daylight because it's a children's show. You know, that kind of tease to something horrible happening under the bright light of day, I feel like is the perfect way to introduce, oh no, I got myself in too deep, too fast into a thing I don't understand, as we experience in this episode.
Yeah.
I thought that was really well done. I think the issue I do have with it is, Ben, you're one of my best friends, and I do damn near anything for you, but if you're telling me that I couldn't get the one thing I wanted my entire life and the entire world, and we could still be friends, but we just wouldn't be close, like I'd still know you, like I would get a new body. I would get Wesley Crusher body.
Yeah.
But the only cost is I couldn't continue on the ship with you after.
You get like original Wesley Crusher body or hunk Wesley Crusher body?
Hunk Wesley. Fuck. Yeah.
I would understand.
Like, the mistake is making the choice so fast. In both circumstances. Like, Zero both chooses new body and chooses friends so instantly that it feels thoughtless in a way that I associate with Zero as a character being very thoughtful. Like, the impulsivity of it didn't work for me.
That could just be that it's a 22-minute episode and, you know, they don't have time. But, yeah, I mean, I think it's crucial also that the rest of the gang puts, like, zero pressure on Zero to walk away from these people.
Yeah. Zero pressure.
Yeah, exactly. Well, do you want to see if there's anything pressuring us in the Priority 1 inbox, Adam?
Sure do, Ben.
Priority 1 message from Starfleet coming in on secured channel.
Hey, we're back in the P1s to tell you that our Priority 1 is to convert you from just a listener to a member listener by going to MaximumFun.org/join. And this is the last day of the drive. This is where the rubber meets the road. We presumably at this point, we're recording a couple of days ahead of time, but presumably at this point, we are not quite to our goal of 100% of our listeners becoming supporters. So this is the last day to make it happen. If you are not yet a member, go to MaximumFun.org/join and become one at the $5 level. It's super easy. It doesn't cost that much. You get extra bonus content, and you know that you are helping make this thing possible. All it takes to become a member is $5 a month. That opens up all of the bonus content that we've ever made, something like 65 episodes or something like that. And the way it works is if you go to MaximumFun.org/join and set your membership up, the first thing you get is an email about your bonus content. And it's really cool. They've made it so that you can customize your feed to only include the shows that you want to get bonus content from. So every month you'll get new stuff from us and whatever other shows you add to that RSS feed. And that is an RSS feed that you can add to whatever podcatcher app you use. And every supporter gets to make their own RSS feed.
So go to MaximumFun.org/join, sign up at any level of support, and you can start getting bonus content right away. MaximumFun.org/join.
If you are already a member at the $5 level, we hope you'll consider boosting or upgrading. Get yourself an enamel pin. We have 2 different pin designs this year. They are both great. There's a nub and bug with the text "Peaceful Coexistence." And of course, there is a Zephram Cochrane pin, and he has the text "Money."
The thing that Zephram Cochrane is most known for.
Yeah.
MaximumFun.org/join is where you go to upgrade from $5 to $10, and you can get yourself that pin.
If you aren't a member yet, you can start your membership at the $10 level and get that pin. And anybody who joins Booster Upgrade this week is automatically entered for our awesome giveaway, Adam. We're going to, we got a couple of things. We're going to load a fanny pack full of old challenge coins from previous tours of our show. It's a Lower Decks fanny pack. It's going to come to your house full of challenge coins, but you also get to pick a movie for Greatest Trek to review on the Greatest Trek Film Festival.
If there was a form of like dork prison and you needed an improvised weapon, like fanny pack full of challenge coins would be that, wouldn't it? No one would mess with you in the yard if you're swinging that thing around, wouldn't you say?
That thing is lethal in all cases.
I mean, it'll tear your arm off if you try to swing it up over your head, too.
That's true.
Too much centripetal or centrifugal force, whatever the word is.
But isn't the real too much power in the ability to pick a movie for Greatest Trek, Adam?
I really can't wait for this moment because when you, the winner of this contest, get to decide what we have to watch and review, can you do better than Rollerball?
It could go a lot of different ways. You could have us review a really great movie that you think we would like. You could have us review a terrible movie that you think we would hate. The power is in your hands.
Look, we got to do it, whatever it is. Yeah. And you could be really cool or you could be our worst enemy. But either way, you'd be a supporter by going to MaximumFun.org/join. And that's the most important thing.
We also want to let you hear from some existing listener members about why they chose to become supporters of Greatest Trek.
I'm Sarah, Admiral of the USS Hood Discord server.
My name's Zane, aka Vita Z.
Hi, my name is Jeff, but I go by Captain Chris Lando on the Discord.
Hey, my name is Hunter, and while I might be a little bit embarrassed to listen to 2 different weekly Star Trek podcasts, I am very proud to support the creators.
I support the Uxbridge Shimoda family of podcasts because they give me great laughter and joy.
Ben and Adam have brought so much fun and joy into my life with their love of Trek, Baywatch, The Cheesecake Factory, and their bits.
I support the fine line of Uxbridge Shimoda pod products because of the laughter Ben and Adam bring into my life on a weekly basis.
My heart lifts whenever I see a new item in the Max Fun Boko feed. And you can have that feeling too.
Go to MaximumFun.org/join today and support the bits.
I hope you'll join me to show up for the shows you love this year.
MaximumFun.com. Fuck. MaximumFun.org/join.
Listen to all those FODs. Completely normal sounding folks.
Yeah, they did it, and it's now your turn. It's your turn to join the ranks of members who are joining, boosting, and upgrading at MaximumFun.org/join.
They don't even sound that embarrassed.
Yeah, it's like weird that like they don't sound as embarrassed as we do.
Look, we thank all of them and all of you for supporting the show this year and every other year.
Everyone that becomes a member gets the bonus content. If you're at the $10 level, you get an enamel pin to show off your membership. You also get a $5 discount on tickets to future streaming shows. And of course, you're entered to get that giveaway. So we hope that's all persuasive to you. And you're already heading to MaximumFun.org/join.
You can stop us from going the way of the favorite television show that gets canceled or the mom and pop restaurant that closes. Like we see it all the time in life.
Or the sports team that moves to a different market.
All we want to do, all we're asking for is to keep doing this thing that you love by going to MaximumFun.org/join and supporting at the $5 level. Gets you all the bonus stuff, or at the $10 level, gets you a neat pin.
MaximumFun.org/join. And this is the last day to do it, so do it right now while we're talking about it.
Increase support, the maximum. Increase support, the maximum. Increase support, the maximum.
Hey, Adam.
What's that, Ben?
Did you find yourself a Barnus Frakes?
Did you mean Barnus Frakes?
I'm pretty sure I meant a Barnus Frakes! Barnus Frakes!
This feels like beating a dead Medusan. Just take a beat, Zero. Whenever you make a huge life decision like this, they say you should sleep on it. And I understand in a 22-minute episode, we're not going to do that. However, in the cold open, we're a week later after the episode previous. So, like, what is time, really?
They say time
is the fire in which we burn.
What I'm trying to say is take a breath, maybe have a, you know what you do when you like buy a car from a car dealer? You go outside with your wife and you talk about it away from the dealer guy, from the seller.
Right, sure.
All of this is happening in front of these folks in these green bodies. You got to get away from them and consider things. I just thought it was way too impulsive. And impulsivity is what Barnus Frex is all about. How about you?
I'm right there with you. I think Zero's got to get it for this one. I think that one thing that I really admire about my wife's way of being in the world is not being afraid to ask a question. Like, I think that, like, I sometimes hold myself back from asking questions because I'm like, well, everybody must know the answer to this, so I'll look like an idiot if I ask. And that gives me in tons of trouble sometimes because I just need to, like, fully inform myself to make, like, better choices. And boy, does Zero ask not enough questions this whole episode. Oh, you're putting this flower crown on me? Seems good.
It's one of the joys of dining with you and your wife is finally learning what part the shank is. I didn't know until she asked.
Yeah.
It's good.
Adam, we always end episodes of Greatest Trek with a segment we call Warning Bois, where we express our appreciation for folks who have gone on Beyonce's internet and made their appreciation of our show a matter of the public record. Spreads the word about our show and hopefully brings on a new viewer or two.
That'd be nice.
Prepare a buoy and launch it when ready.
Warning buoys.
An emergency buoy. A warning buoy.
This one is from the Spotify for Creators push notifications that I receive.
Oh, when did this one wake you up?
This came in a week ago from Cliff Costa. This is about the cloaca will be an issue, our coverage of Prodigy Season 2, Episode 3. Cliff says, another great episode of Greatest Trek, mostly leaving a comment to see if Ben is still getting push notifications. Being a father of a 3 and a 1-year-old, I decided to leave the comment midday just in case notifications are on. Hi, Ben. Love you guys. Hi, Cliff.
Unfortunately, Cliff Costa lives in Indonesia, so midday really got you.
Cliff's midday is not my midday. Yeah, I see all of these. You're not going to slip one past the goalie.
No way.
We really appreciate everyone who leaves a nice review or posts about the show on social media. And if you do, just know we might talk about you here in the Warning Bois segment.
Hey, Ben, breaking news. Wynde has changed her mind. She has decided to come back to Uxbridge Shimoda. She will be the producer-editor of today's show.
That's great.
I'm just reading her message. She says she came back because we had such a clean episode for the last 20 minutes. So way to tighten it up there by us.
Hey, we really appreciate everything Wynde does around here, and we're going to leave it with her to read some credits and tell you about next week's episode.
And also maybe tell you a little bit about why Greatest Trek Drive is important to her. How about that? How about that pimpin'? Thanks, Wynde.
Bye-bye.
Greatest Trek is an Uxbridge Shimoda podcast on the Maximum Fun Network. It's hosted by Ben Harrison and Adam Pranica, and it's produced and edited by Wynde Priddy. Ben and Adam will be back next week with a review of Star Trek Prodigy Season 2, Episode 9. It's called The Devourer of All Things, Part 1, and we've got a very special guest lined up to join us for that episode, so don't miss it. Thank you so much to everyone who's jumped in to support during Greatest Trek Drive this year. This episode is coming out on the very last day, so if you haven't supported yet, I want to encourage you to take advantage of the special offers that won't be available after the drive ends. It is pretty expensive for Ben and Adam to cover the cost of this show, but there are plenty of people like you who listen who can pitch in a small amount and help keep the project sustainable. So do your small part this year at MaximumFun.org/join, and let's end this thing at 100%. Thanks to Nick Ditmore, who created the show art, and Adam Ragusia, who composed the theme music. Thanks to Rob Adler and Bill Tilley for their work on the @GreatestTrek social media pages. And thank you for listening. We'll see you next week on Greatest Trek.
Hey, this is the final week of the Greatest Trek Drive, and we are just asking every single one of you to become members this year. Become a new member at just $5 a month. It makes a massive difference in our ability to secure the future of these shows. And if you're already a member, boost your upgrade this year, and you're entered to win our amazing giveaway. And you're going to be helping us hit our goal of 100% of listeners participating in this Max Fun Drive.
Just want to thank you if you're supporting the show today. Want to thank you if you've ever supported the show, because it's what makes this whole thing possible. MaximumFun.org/join is how you can do it if you aren't already. Join the rest of the 100%.
Going to MaximumFun.org/join and setting your membership up today, or boosting or upgrading, is the most effective way you can vote for shows like this. Things that are actually made for their listeners and not for algorithmic engagement metrics. Shows like this are hard to make and don't come out if listeners like you don't support.
Our show sounds hard to make on occasion, doesn't it?
It really does. So if you missed this show and it was gone, that's all of the encouragement you need to head to MaximumFun.org/join right now. Help us close this second week of the 2025 Max Fun Drive strong.
I would really like that. Wouldn't you like to go into next week hearing that the drive was a great success and it was because of your support? What a great feeling that would be. MaximumFun.org/join is how you can be a part of this. Look, I'm really good at ignoring things like this. And when I don't support the things that I love, they tend to go away. I'm glad you're not ignoring this. Very glad you're participating in the drive this year. MaximumFun.org/join is how you can do it if you haven't done it already. And thanks for keeping us going this year and every other year.
MaximumFun.org/join.
Increase support, the maximum. Increase support, the maximum. Increase support, the maximum. Increase support, the maximum. Increase support, the maximum.
Make it so.
Money.
Maximum Fun,
a worker-owned network
of artist-owned shows,
supported
directly
by you.